What's going on, folks? Elijah here. It's a kind of smoggy Wednesday evening here in the beautiful city of Los Angeles. On the way home from the job. Ready to go get me a cheeseburger and eat. Bust out some deadlifts. Watch me an anime. As I usually do. Just stop and get me some chevrons. So I don't have to fill up tomorrow's tax deadline. I won't have to fill up before work. I don't have to. Yeah, so it's a beautiful evening. It's actually been pretty hot today. Not that I can really complain because I work in a air-conditioned office building all day, so it's not like I'm out doing roofing or construction or street vending or something like that where I gotta be outside in the heat all day. Pretty spoiled that way. I have been in my adult life here in SoCal. Feeling pretty good so far this week. Got a big tax deadline day tomorrow on the 15th, so I'll be glad to get that done with. Crazy ass lady, learn to drive. People like to get themselves killed jaywalking. That's one thing they'll tell you. Learn how to ride a motorcycle is that jaywalkers do not see you, or pedestrians just in general will not see your butt. So turn in front of a motorcycle day or what? And they will just step out in front of the bike. Especially people be on their phones or whatever, blabbing with each other. So definitely something you gotta watch out for, guys. Or you will cream a pedestrian and it probably will hurt you just as bad, if not worse than them. Today, though, the thing that comes to mind for a subject to talk about is voting. And, I guess I really didn't realize it, or I kind of took it for granted. Living here in California, people always ask me, oh, why do I live here? It's expensive and blah, 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 and all this. California's going to hell, and people be posting all kind of crazy stuff on, Facebook about California, how bad California is, and that's including family members of mine, which is embarrassing because they're idiots. We're all going to hell, woo, woo. But the reality is, California's great because I'm not going to have to wait in line for 11 hours just to cast a vote. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. I've been seeing the lines in other states and seeing what other family members are going through. People down in Georgia and Texas waiting 11 hours just to go vote. Meanwhile, here in California, I got my ballot on my desk at home, and I can vote at any time and go to one of many official sanctioned drop boxes in the city of Los Angeles and the county of Los Angeles and throughout the state of California to drop my ballot off. Not only that, as I could drop it in the mail if I wanted to, because it's postage paid here. You know, the ballots are already got postage on them. I don't have to worry about putting postage on it. That's something they did and changed a few years ago here in California. And I've been voting by mail, I want to say, for probably 10 years now, if not more longer than that. I'm a permanent vote by mail voter. They always send me my ballot in the mail. I always get it in the mail and I always return it in the mail. And I find that, yeah, I vote more often. Haven't missed one yet. So, I mean, even local stuff, I vote more often. So, I don't understand, other than voter suppression, why they would want to keep people from being able to easily vote. You know, I know people are like, oh, voter ID, woo, you can't. Like, well, here in the state of California, in order to get a ID from the state of California issued, you have to prove to them that you are a legal resident of the United States already. So that takes care of the whole your identity law. And the Secretary of State gets your identification information directly from the DMV, which is another government organization here. So you're already vetted by the DMV. There's no reason why the Secretary of State also needs to vet you separately that you are who you say you are, because you've already pre-identified yourself as not only a legal citizen of the United States, but also a citizen of the state of California. So, I mean, that just takes care of all that malarkey that people be talking about, you know, fraudulent voters here in California. It's impossible to be a fraudulent voter unless you get like a ballot for a dead person, or one that gets sent for somebody that changed your address, and you decide you're going to vote twice, which is, I believe, a felony class crime in California. Just like the Republican Party here committed a felony class crime when they put out their own ballot drop boxes, because they're claiming that, you know, Democrats, we do the same thing. We gather up people's ballots and turn them in, but it's not legal here in the state of California. Democrats don't do that. It's not why we won. It just happens to be that, yes, now in the state of California, the majority of people are Democrats. That's all there is to it. For better or worse. And that trend has been coming. Republicans have shot themselves in the foot politically when it comes to getting voters from the demographics that currently exist in California and will continue to become in the future. But that's their own political suicide that they committed. And they're going to have to make different choices in policy in the future if they want to get people to vote for them who live here in the state of California, or else they will become extinct just like their mascot. And the trends here in California are very foreboding for the trends in the rest of the United States. So, I mean, whether or not Joe Biden wins or not, Trump isn't going to make it any better for the Republican Party, and if anything, he's really ensuring their eventual demise here in the United States. And then it's going to be the far left versus the center left. And that will be the new political battle for the future of America. You know, the right wing will become some, you know, irrelevant, ostracized, marginalized group, a minority. And that's pretty much all there is to it right now. Going forward, there's not going to all of a sudden be a whole bunch more Republicans. That's why you're seeing the voter suppression in a lot of these red states, because cheating is the only way that they're going to be able to eke out any type of victory going forward. And it's going to be a minority victory. And if you look at other countries around the world that have minority governments, sooner or later they fail, and they are crushed by those who they are suppressing, because you can't endlessly suppress a majority of people with a minority of people. Sooner or later, they're going to rise up and they're going to slap your butt cheeks, politically at least. And that's all there is to it. So, the attack on voter rights in this country is absolutely appalling as an African American person of color. But, when people ask me why I live in the state of California, why I live in Los Angeles, that's why. It's because I don't have to deal with all that bullcrap. I don't have to put up with racists calling me the N-word and stuff to my face pretty much ever. I mean, the only person that ever call me the N-word out here are homeless people. You know what? I'm okay with that. They're homeless, dog. That's probably why they're homeless. Probably did something racist, lost a job, and on drugs, and they can't get another job. So I really appreciate the privileges that I have living here. And I really, again, I resent when people try to California shame California. We got the highest GDP in the United States. We got the biggest National Guard in the United States. We got the biggest ports in the United States. We got the biggest population in the United States. And yeah, does that mean that, a lot of the negative things we have are the biggest as well? Well, yeah, but that goes with, having the largest population, you're going to have some of the largest problems. And then that's not to say that other states don't have those same problems that we have. They just don't deal with them. So, stop the California shaming, guys. Make sure you go vote. I hope you don't have to wait in line 11 hours just to vote. Personally, I feel like that's going to get more people to actually step out to vote, rather than prevent them from voting. I think it may actually discourage a lot of right-wing voters from actually going out to vote when they realize they got to wait in line for 12 hours just to cast their ballot. They're probably just going to go home, dog. I feel sorry for anybody who might catch COVID, die waiting to vote like that. Because like I said, I live in this, beautiful California privilege. It's the reason why I live out here in this state. It's the reason why, my siblings have come to live here as well. Because there is a lot of opportunity out here. Yes, the cost of living is high. But how much does living in a state that's suppressing your vote cost you? Those things have a price on them. How much does living in a state that has increasingly racist policies rather than decreasing racist policies? So is that really, that stuff has an impact on your economic ability? Those things have an impact on your community, dog. What does it cost you to live in a community that discourages diversity, that doesn't want to put in mass transit, where you got to have a car to get everywhere anyway? That's one thing I love about living in Los Angeles. Like, I've done it. You can live without a car and still get around Los Angeles just fine. And especially now in the Uber and Lyft era, and we got this beautiful Expo train line here on my left that I use often, at least before the pandemic. I use it often to get around because it's an amazing way to get around the city. My job reimburses me from a bus pass, at least back when I was riding it, and I ride it train for free every day. I mean, it's awesome privilege. You can go to the beach on it. You can go downtown LA. Go vote on it. And that's just one of the privileges of living here in Los Angeles and in California is the people who are progressive and forward thinking are finally starting to get control of things out here and starting to make the investments that have been a lot of times needed for decades. And are some of these changes painful? Yeah, because of the lack of investment a lot of times in these changes that were, they're still needed. And they got to be done, and they only become more expensive as time goes on. So, Don't take your right to vote for granted, especially if you live here in California or a state where it's easy to vote by mail or absentee ballot. Our soldiers have been doing it for a long time. I've been doing it for over a decade myself without a problem. I love being able to vote in that manner. Personally, I think it's how everybody should be able to vote in this day and time. Are there a couple errors here or there, a couple flukes? Yeah, sure, but that's in any system. That's not to say that the voting in person system isn't by innately itself error-free necessarily. Sorry, Cagers, I gotta be first. I don't get a motorcycle because I can be last. First. Give me a cheeseburger. So don't take your right to vote for granted, guys. Get out there. Go vote for Joe Biden. I'm just going ahead and say it. I'm endorsing him for president of the United States. I hope he can beat Trump. It's going to be tough for him to win an electoral victory. But if the lines and what I'm seeing in other states that do have voter suppression stays true, we might get those miracle flips that we need to put Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in the White House and send Donald Trump and the Republicans packing for good. And nobody's going to be able to stop us after that. So that's all for today, guys. Please be safe out there. Wear your masks, wear your motorcycle gear, and go vote. Elijah out.